Yeah. Hey! I hit the wrong button. Yeah, Running Back Nation, what is good? It is I, DJ Eastwood, Running Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Algo gang. Hit the like button on the stream. That pushes this stream through the YouTube algorithm so more and more people can stumble upon this and listen to me ramble about the Sixers Celtics playoffs while they're at work, at school, at home. Wherever you're at watching. Where you at? Let me know in the chat. Where you at? Where you at in the chat? Sixers in 7. Where are you watching? Where are you watching from? You at home? You at work? You at school? You at, I don't know what else there is. Work, school, home. I don't know, a bar? You at a bar? Watching on your phone? Sixers cooking tonight. Harden is going to get screwdrivered and Scott Foster will call an offensive foul. Yes, Scott Foster is officiating the game tonight. James Harden is 1-13 in playoff games officiated by Scott Foster. James Harden and Chris Paul were 1-27 combined, and that only one of the win only came because Chris Paul and James Harden were playing against each other in a Scott Foster game, so somebody had to win. But yeah, you know, we'll see tonight, man. Going to the game tonight. Michael Henry's going to the game tonight. Shout out to you. Have a good time, man. Enjoy yourself. Hopefully the Sixers win for you. When Monday comes around, we'll be up 3-1. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Al Kopik is currently surveying an undeveloped warehouse. Thanks for tuning in while you're working, man. I appreciate it. Getting paid to watch. Let's go. I saw the Sixers are 4-0 in Scott Foster games this year, though. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? That makes me feel better. Foster hates Tatum more? Good. He should hate Tatum. The only player in the NBA that can seem to get away with pushing referees after plays. He did it twice in the playoffs so far. I mean, and the people that argue that are like, well, the referee initiated contact. It's when Tatum gets fouled or something, and he feels like it's a hard foul, and he pops up on his feet real fast and takes a step towards the player that fouled him, and the referee stands in front of him because it looks like he might have to stop a little bit of a scuffle that might be going on. And when the referee steps in front of him, he shoves his arms away. So I'm still not understanding how that's legal. Because it's the referee's job to step in front of players if he feels like they're about to fight. But when the referee steps in front of you, if he feels like you're about to fight, you're allowed to push him out of your way? I'll never understand it. I'll never understand it. Luda says y'all are so soft. What? Man, in the 90s, they used to punch referees in the face. How am I soft for thinking Tatum shouldn't be able to push a referee? What a horrendous comment, man. What a horrendous comment. Hide user. There we go. Anyway, what's going on? What's up, man? The Sixers need to win tonight. They need to win tonight. Before we get down to business, hit the like button. Close out the chat. Hit the like button. 125 people in here. I need 125 likes on the stream. Close out the chat. Hit the like button. That's all we ask. That's all we ask. Came across something yesterday, something that was sent to me. And I want to look at it first before I talk about why the Sixers need to win tonight. And, you know, then give you some positive vibes, some positive thoughts, some reasons that the Sixers can win tonight. Somebody asked Doc Rivers about James Harden going to Vegas after the Nets series, and he said, James called me before he went. And I was like, so what? Do it. Dennis Rodman went to Vegas. They asked me about it, and I said, we had 3 days off. I told him to do whatever he wants to do. And James dropped 45 the next game to steal game one in Boston without Joel Embiid. So, you know, part of me is like, this is clear evidence that Doc Rivers runs a loose ship and lets players do whatever they want, as has been told before. His practices are easy and soft, you know, but James comes back and drops 45, so you can't be mad at it. I'm actually mad that James didn't fly straight back to Vegas after that to come back for game two. So maybe James went to Vegas in between Boston and Philly. I don't know. I didn't see any videos. Nothing came out. I guess he learned his lesson. You know, don't be out in the back of the casino slapping somebody in the face or whatever. But there's that. And then there's this. And then there's this. Man, my stream is not quite set up right now, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Then there's this. This was the huddle, game two. Doc Rivers says something. He says something, and James looks at him like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And, you know, we've been kind of roasting Doc Rivers, all in fun, because of his speeches that are mic'd up on ESPN or TNT or whatever, because he doesn't really say anything. He just says, come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Come on, guys. We gotta score points and come on. Defense and points and come on, guys. Anyway, here's James Harden looking at him. This is funny.
Retaliating. They're hitting.
What? Bro. He said they're retaliating. What does that even... What?
Retaliating. They're hitting first on every...
Bro, do you guys think this means anything? Is this how James Harden feels about Doc Rivers? Is this how the players feel about Doc Rivers? Do NBA players think that a coach matters? You know what I mean? Because
retaliating. They're hitting first on every...
Because, you know, NBA players have been playing their whole life. They've been playing at a very high level their whole life. They do, you know what I mean? When a coach talks, are the players like, man, I really gotta lock in and hear what the coach is about to tell me to do to try to win this basketball game when I've been winning basketball games my whole life. I don't think this means anything, because I think this is what players think of coaches probably all the time. That's why I don't think it really means anything, because I think NBA players are good enough, and they've been at the top level their whole life, and they know how to play the game. They know they know what intensity level they need to win a game. They know how much they need to hustle. They know they need to get stops and score on the other end. They know they need to box out. Like, I don't think a coach saying that really affects the game at all. And I don't really think the players really listen to coaches that much. Anyway, that's honestly what I think. And that's why I keep saying that I don't think coaches can affect a game positively very much in the NBA. but I think coaches can affect the game negatively very much, because I think coaches in the NBA, in a 5-on-5 basketball game, the 5 best players on the floor usually win the game. They usually win the series. I think a coach can get an ego. A coach can think that he's more important than he really is, and then he can start making, decisions, overthinking things, over-complicating the game, going small ball when you're already getting out-rebounded by a million, going P.J. Tucker at backup center when you're already giving up layups all over the place, going Tobias Harris and George Niang at the 4 and the 5 I saw sometimes this season. But positively, I know people want me to say Doc Rivers is responsible for how well the Sixers played this season, winning 60 games, and he deserves credit and all these things. Joel Embiid has been much better under Doc Rivers than Brett Brown, but was that just roster construction? I mean, come on, bro. It's not that hard to understand. A 7-footer who's going to score all his points in the paint needs space. He needs shooters on the perimeter. He needs everybody to get the hell out of his way. That's not a genius thing to do. I don't know why Brett Brown couldn't figure it out, or maybe Brett wasn't in charge of anything. But Doc Rivers came in and said, "Yeah, we got it. We need to get space for Joel." And Daryl Morey said, we gotta get Al Horford up out of here. Chris DeMeo, not sure about that. Look at Ben Simmons. Well, not sure if you're talking about a coach saying things can affect the game or can affect how a player plays. Well, Ben Simmons is very rare. Ben Simmons is the rarest form of loser that may have ever existed in the history of sports. You can't really... I know you're making a joke, but, looking at Ben Simmons and trying to, draw a conclusion on NBA games is kind of like looking at... It's kind of like looking at, I was going to say, who's the serial killer that was like eating people? Never mind, bro. It was going to be a really weird, terrible analogy anyway. Yeah, let's get into it, man. Is Game 3 a must-win for the Philadelphia 76ers? Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer. I was going to say it's like looking at Jeffrey Dahmer and saying, like, don't trust anybody in life. You might get put in a vat of acid. It's probably not going to happen. It could, but it's probably not going to happen. Packy Wacky says yes. So they split the series into the first 2 games in Boston. Winning even one of those games, especially without Joel Embiid, was a miracle in itself. Even this Sixers team, what they showed this whole season, the issues that I think they've had, that it's looked like they've corrected toward the end of the season and the beginning of the playoffs, even fully healthy, taking one of those games in Boston was a big-time W, And so you take one of those games in Boston. Now everybody's going to look at Game 2. Not everybody, but a lot of people are looking at Game 2 and saying, we lost by 30, we lost by 40, we lost by whatever. You can't do that. It's not the first time it's happened. Again, the Warriors lost a game by 40 and won the championship that year. The Miami Heat lost to the Milwaukee Bucks a couple weeks ago by 35 and won the series. So I'm not too worried about that game at all. Game 3 is 100% a must-win game. And I'm going to tell you exactly why by the numbers, okay? I should have had this brought up before I came up here, but playoff series wins. All right, let me just type in the link. Give me a second here. Basketballreference.com. 7-game playoff series. If I type one letter wrong in this URL, it's not going to work. Outcomes 22111.html. Hopefully I did that right. Yeah, there it is. All right, check it out. Look, Let's go this way. Yeah, here you go. 7-game playoff series outcomes since 1984. 2-2-1-1-1 format. Okay, H designates home games and A designates away games. This is what I posted on Twitter this morning. And people want to argue with me. It's 2-2-1-1-1, right? It's not 2-3-2. It's 2-2-1-1-1. I'm right? Yeah. All right, look. So they split in Boston. So you look at tied 1-1. All right. And first of all, let's look at that. When a series is tied and the team that won the first game lost the second game. No, that's at home. The team that won the first game away lost the second game away. Wait, hold on. Let me get this on the screen for you guys so you can see what I'm pointing. I just realized you can't see what the hell you can't see what I'm looking at. Yeah, here you go. Here you go. Where is it? When a series is tied 1-1, team that won the first game away, lost the second game away, is 36-55. So the game coming up for the Sixers right now, in the history of the NBA playoffs, teams in the Sixers' exact position right now are 36-55 in those games. That's not too bad. That's not too bad of odds, right? If they win this game, team is up 2-1. They won the first game away. They lost the second game away. They won the third game at home. Teams are 30-20 in the series. I like those odds too. If they win this game, teams in the history of the playoffs that won this game after splitting away a win and a loss are 30-20 in the series. Now, 30-20 in the series means that there's only been 50 teams in the history of the game that won this game. 50 and 115, 127, something like that. So, winning this game is not that easy. But if they win this game, it gives them very nice odds moving forward, right? If they lose this game, team is down. After winning one game away, losing the next game away, and losing the next game at home, teams are 6-35 in the series in the history of the NBA. So 6-35. 6-35. So yeah, this is a must-win game. You have to win. You have to win. And people were replying to me on Twitter saying they don't have to win if they win game 4. And I was like, if I jump off a building, I might not die if Superman catches me. I'm not saying I'm giving you probability numbers here. I'm not saying they can't win if they lose this game coming up. Obviously, 6 teams in the history of ever have done it. Do you want those odds or do you want these odds? You know what I mean? I'm just going probability here. Andre says these stats don't mean anything. I'm just throwing probabilities out there, bro. Damn. Damn, man. How dare you? How dare you try to come up in here and show the people some probability numbers on a playoff series? And I'm just saying how important it is to win this game 3 if they split the 2 away games. It's clearly important. How do these numbers not mean anything? If your odds after winning the game tonight go from 6-35, 6 divided by 35, what's that? 5%? Go from 5% to 65%. How do these numbers not mean anything? Obviously, if you go down 2-1 and you just lost 2 in a row, you're probably not going to win the series. And I think the Sixers do win this series tonight, by the way. I do think that. Now, I got a question for you guys. How do I get that out of here? Now, I got a question for you guys. Sorry, I still got a boot on my foot, and I'm stuck. Listen. Not just the Sixers needing to win this game tonight. Does Joel Embiid... We are a couple of hours away from quite possibly the definition of Joel Embiid's legacy. Think about that for a second. We are a couple of hours away from quite possibly the definition of Joel Embiid's legacy. If Joel Embiid is not closer to 100%, if Joel Embiid does not look a little bit more like himself, and the Sixers lose this game, and if the Sixers lose this game, and it's quite clear they lose this game because Joel Embiid is injured, and then they, have a 36% chance of going on to win the series. If they lose this game because Joel Embiid is injured, and they go on to lose the series, is Joel Embiid's legacy cemented as one of the greatest centers of all time who absolutely just cannot stay healthy and can't get his team through the playoffs because he keeps getting hurt? If they lose this game because Joel Embiid is not healthy, I think you're getting very close to Joel Embiid's legacy being that. If they win this game, Joel Embiid, if they win this game on the back of Joel Embiid, if Joel Embiid, sadly, I think so, Trey says, if Joel Embiid looks more like himself in this game, drops 27 and 12 with 5 blocks like he had the last game, and they win, and it's clear the Sixers just beat the Celtics because Joel Embiid was his dominant self, and the Sixers go on to win this series, Joel Embiid is a hero. Joel Embiid continues to climb. Joel Embiid continues to be one of the greatest centers to ever play the game, and he continues to take steps forward to trying to win a championship, to add that to his legacy. He's got the MVP. He's got scoring titles. He's got this. He's got that. He's trying to... If they win this specific game tonight, Joel Embiid's legacy keeps going up. If they lose this game because Joel Embiid is hurt, their chances significantly increase of them losing the series, and I think it starts to define Joel Embiid's legacy. I think this is a game, this is a legacy-defining game tonight in just a couple hours. I really, really think that. So I'm nervous as hell. I'm nervous as hell for the Sixers-Celtics series. I'm nervous as hell. I want the Sixers to win, to get past this series, finally get out of the second round, get to the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe the NBA Finals. I want that to happen more than anything. But as a Joel Embiid fan, as a big-time Joel Embiid fan, as a fan of this guy as much as I was a fan of Allen Iverson, I think he's one of the greatest Sixers to ever play. As a Joel Embiid fan, I need him to come back, do something super heroic, and win this game and continue. I need the Sixers to, at least for Joel Embiid's legacy, I need him to look closer to his dominant self. And if the Sixers lose the series, it has to be for a reason outside of him being injured. It has to be the lineups. It has to be the roster wasn't strong enough. It has to be the team doesn't hustle, rebounds, transition defense, etc. It has to be something. It can't be Joel Embiid's injury. If the reason they lose the series is Joel Embiid's injury, I think it starts to define his legacy. So I need Joel to come back tonight. We need it. We need it, man. We need it. I'm nervous. Giancarlo says, fully agree it's mandatory to win this specific game. Go Sixers. Let's go. JS, he's going to be known as the injury playoff guy like Chris Paul. That sucks. Lucci says, yeah, except Embiid is injured. Stop it. Stop it. I refuse to lose hope. I refuse. A says if the Sixers lose Embiid equals Barkley. Damn, you're right, bro. You're right. We're talking about, are you closer to getting to the Dr. J, Moses Malone, Maurice Cheeks tier of NBA players? Or are you over in the Charles Barkley category? Still one of the best Sixers to ever play. Are you over into Allen? I don't even put Allen Iverson over there. I don't put Iverson over there. Somebody said AI 2.0 up top. I don't put AI over there. Allen Iverson did miraculous things at 5'11", 160 pounds to even take that roster anywhere. In my eyes, I mean, if Iverson had anybody better than Eric Snow and Aaron McKee, that Sixers team maybe upsets the Lakers in the finals. Probably not, but they stand a better chance. But I can't put Iverson there. I mean, you never gave the guy anybody. You never gave him anybody. And the Sixers never gave Joel Embiid anybody either. But it's the injury issue. You know what I mean? Iverson had his injuries here and there, but it wasn't like every time the Sixers got to the playoffs, he had a sore knee or a torn meniscus or whatever. It was always like Iverson's healthy, Iverson's playing his ass off. I mean, what did he average? 30 points a game in the playoffs? And the Sixers couldn't get it done because the team wasn't good enough. Joel Embiid, his legacy is becoming the Sixers can't get it done because he keeps getting hurt. So he needs to win this game. He needs to look more like himself in this game, and the Sixers need to win. Obviously to survive this playoff series, but to continue Joel Embiid's legacy, I think this is a legacy-defining game. I really think that. I really think that, man. I really think that. Let's make you feel better a little bit about the series also by looking at the Boston Celtics. Just a series ago, you know, I know people have been, talking about how the Boston Celtics are a juggernaut. And I've been talking about that the whole season too. But I have a good friend named Steph who came through the playback stream before and comes in to stream sometimes, and he's a Boston Celtics fan. And when I asked him what he thinks of the Boston Celtics, before the playoffs started, I asked him that, and he said they need to stop playing down to competition. They need to stop blowing leads. And hearing it from a Celtics fan, what's up, Martin? Thanks for the super chat. Hearing that from a Celtics fan made me feel better going into the playoffs. And then I watched the Boston Celtics versus the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs. And I realized, and that's why I'm the one that turned positive in the second round. I realized this Boston Celtics team has a lot of issues. They have a great roster, a deep roster, but they got issues. And they do play down to competition. They lost 3 times to the Orlando Magic this season. And they let the Atlanta Hawks, a play-in team that just got beat by the 76ers G League affiliate a couple games before, they let that Atlanta Hawks team take them to 6 games. So there's no reason in my mind that if Joel Embiid is closer to himself and the Sixers shoot better than 20% from 3, there's no reason they can't fight and win this series in 7 games. Look at the Celtics versus the Hawks in the series. They won the first game 112-99. That game they shot 39% from 3. They had 6 steals, 7 blocks, 25 assists, 58 rebounds. Game 2, they won 119-106. They shot 45% from 3 in that game. They shot great from 3 in basically all of these games. They were up 2-0. Let's go back to this. Look, teams that are up 2-0 and have just won 2 games at home are 204-18 in this series. They won the series. But in the next game, they are what? I don't know how to look at it, but you know what I'm saying. The probability was in their favor to sweep that series, and they lost game 3. They lost game 3 122-130. Let's look at this loss. Atlanta Hawks emerged victorious over the Boston Celtics 130-122 in Game 3 of the first round. The Celtics were 45 for 92. They got up 48 three-pointers. That's same thing they've been doing against us. You know, they jack threes, bro. They heave them. They let them fly. We got to match that. Again, even if you shoot a decent percentage from three, if you're only shooting 25 of them, you're done. It's over. You got to play a faster pace, and you got to get up shots. I hope Doc Rivers understands that. I don't know if he does, but I hope he does. What are the player stats in this first loss? This first loss, Tatum had 29, Jaylen Brown had 15, Marcus Smart had 24. Brogdon had 17 off the bench. Grant Williams had 14 off the bench. Robert Williams had 4 off the bench. So they got, it seems like a decent scoring output. They did. They scored 122 points. They gave up 130 in this game. They gave up 32 to Trae Young. They gave up 15 to Sadiq Bey off the bench. They gave up 15 to Bogdan Bogdanovic off the bench. They gave up 10 to Jalen Johnson off the bench. They gave up 10 to Clint Capella. That guy can't score. Probably alley-oops from Trae. They gave up 11 to DeAndre Hunter. So there's a potential here for the Sixers bench to have a good game against Boston. I know they haven't had good games yet, but there's potential there. They gave up 130 points to the Atlanta Hawks in Game 3. That makes me feel good. Look at how efficient the Hawks shot. Yeah, we need to shoot efficiently. I agree with that. I didn't say we can win the game by shooting 20% from three again. We need to make shots. Just saying it's possible based on, the last Game 3 that they played, where they gave up 130 points. Then they won Game 4, and then they lost Game 5 on a Trae Young game winner. That was a fun one. That was one of my favorite calls on PlaybackTV because I predicted the shot. And in that game, what did they do? They only got up 38 three-pointers in this game. Maybe the Atlanta Hawks played better perimeter defense in that game. They didn't get up 48 or 51 like they did to us a couple days ago. They shot 31% from three at the Atlanta Hawks perimeter defense, or they were just missing open shots. I don't really remember. But, it's not like this Boston Celtics team is perfect. They have games where they shoot 30% from three, where they didn't get out rebounded. 9 blocks, 8 to 9 turnovers. They gave up 119 to the Hawks. What did Trae Young have in this game? 38 and 13. It would be nice to get 38 and 13 from James Harden tonight. It would be nice to get 22 from Tyrese Maxey. It would be nice to get 25 from Embiid. The Boston Celtics are beatable. They've had some bad losses this season, and they had a couple bad losses in that series with the Hawks. Also the Boston Celtics blew a 28-point lead to the Brooklyn Nets in the regular season, and I found this article that lists all the times they blew big leads, which is why I felt like when they were up 15 in the first game, I wasn't that nervous about it. I was like, this team blows leads just like the Sixers blow leads. They let runs happen. Part of that is Joe Mazzulla not adjusting. Part of the reason the Sixers blow leads is Doc Rivers not adjusting. I don't think they're that much more dangerous than the Sixers are. I really don't. They're different. They got advantages that we don't have. I think we have advantages that they don't have. The Celtics blew a 19-point lead to the Chicago Bulls. They blew a 14-point lead to the Miami Heat. They blew a 20-point lead to the Los Angeles Lakers. They blew a 23-point lead to the Golden State. No, that's Portland. But yeah, you know what I mean. They've blown games this season. And the Sixers can win this game. They can. Be nice to get 6 from PJ Tucker. Don't hold your breath, my guy. Don't hold your breath. Alex says no Niang tonight, hopefully. The combination of George Niang and PJ Tucker refusing to shoot the damn ball is driving me nuts. I can't handle it anymore. I mean, obviously, you need to get up threes. You need to stay on. You need to keep the pace. To keep up with how many threes the Celtics are shooting, and just to keep up with it. It's 2023, bro. We can't be out here passing up open threes. You got to shoot all of them. I don't know if Doc Rivers is sending that message to the team. We'll see. If they continue this pace and not shooting enough threes, then they're cooked. And I wanted to look this up too. I want to look up, some of the advanced stats in Game 1 versus Game 2. Let's do that. Because it had to be drastically different. It had to be. Game 1, we won 119 to 115. Let's get Game 2 up here so I can flash back and forth. Game 2 was what? Monday? No. Game 1 was Monday. Game 2 was Wednesday. We lost 121 to 87. Yikes! People look at that 87 and, if they didn't watch the game, you know what they say. But we threw in the white towel halfway through the third quarter. That's, you know what I mean? That's why it was an 87. But look, let's do this. Let's go to Game 1, where the Sixers beat the Boston Celtics 119 to 115. Now, holding the Celtics to 115 is something that helps out a lot, of course. Scoring 119 helps out a lot. But I just want to look at the difference in some of the advanced stats. Can we get team stats? Let's see. What we got here? Net rating, assist percentage, rebound, pace. Let's look at pace. I'm always interested in pace. The Sixers' pace in that game was a 91. Boston Celtics' pace in that game was a 91. Now, I don't know if this is going to prove my point or not, but we're going to see. We're going to see. Advanced stats, Game 2, the Sixers' pace was a 95. The Celtics' pace was a 95. According to the advanced stats, we matched their pace. But they got up how many threes versus what we got up? You know what I mean? They got up 48, 46. Where are we at? Where's three-point attempts? They got up 51 three-point attempts to the Sixers 30 three-point attempts in Game 2. That can't happen. That just can't. That's the biggest number that stands out to me. They shot 21 more three-pointers than you. It can't happen. It absolutely can't happen. You got to run more of the style you ran the first game with Harden, Maxey, sharing the ball, swinging the ball around the perimeter, and shooting the ball. PJ Tucker, happy birthday, shoot the damn ball. And you got to incorporate Embiid, but you can't slow the game down so much that the other team's shooting 21 three-pointers more than you. In Game 1, the game that we stole in Boston, what we got? The Sixers shot 38 threes. The Boston Celtics shot 26 threes. So I need somebody to explain to me how in Game 1, we held the Boston Celtics to 26 three-point attempts. And in Game 2, the Boston Celtics shot 51 threes. Could it be the addition of Joel Embiid? Because when you add Joel Embiid, yeah, he was defending the rim. Yeah, he had 5 blocks in the first half. But the same thing I said about the Celtics before this series started with Al Horford drop coverage, not being able to switch on the perimeter, the same thing happens to us with Joel. They run ball screens. Joel's back there trying to guard the rim. They get wide open threes. What's the solution there? What's the solution? Do you run a zone? What's the solution? But a zone is still asking them to shoot threes. I think maybe quite clearly we played better perimeter defense with Joel off the floor because we had guys out on the perimeter switching on screens. Paul Reed was the difference maker. So what's the solution if they're going to get up 51 three-pointers with Joel on the floor? Thomas, the solution is not giving them second and third chances. That's huge, too. Remember that play in Game 2 the other night where somebody put a screenshot on Twitter, and it was like, if I told you the Sixers didn't get the rebound right here, would you believe me? And Derek White was like on the other side of the floor. We had 5 guys there, and somehow Derek White comes up with the offensive rebound. So, yeah, second chance points is a huge one. We can get second chance points on here, right? Game 2, second chance points. It's Gamecast or something like that. Game charts, Gamecast, line scores. What does line scores mean? I don't even know what that means. Box score. Is there a second chance points category on here? Game charts. Game charts. Here we go. Points in the paint. Oh, here we go. Team stats. They out-rebounded us by 5. They had 26 assists to our 13. And again, bro, why are we only having 13 assists? You got to move the ball and you got to shoot. You got to move the ball and you got to shoot. Move the ball, shoot. Move the ball, shoot. That's the only way. That's the only way. Second chance points, they had 21. We had 14. They had 21 second chance points. So, yeah, the fact that they shot 51 threes to our 30 and we gave up 21 second chance points was the difference. What about game 1? Game charts. Second chance points in game 1, we gave up 12. Good call. Good call. Yeah, we lost every battle we did. But good call. We gave up 21 second chance points in game 2. We gave up just 12 second chance points in game 1. That's a 9-point difference right there. And the Sixers were within striking distance, until that run happened at the end of the third quarter. It was really a swing, a 5-point game, a 7-point game, a 5-point game. We were in the hunt. And then Boston blew it out of the water at the end of the third, and it was over. But it's not like it was a blowout from the jump. So if you keep those second chance points low, you box out, you rebound, you guard the perimeter better. I mean, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, Grant Williams were so wide open in that game. It was disgusting. But look at the difference. Without Joel Embiid on the floor, you give up more points in the paint, of course. 66 points in the paint in game 1. Game 2, 36 points in the paint. So you gave up 30 less points in the paint, but what does that mean? That means they shot a shit ton more three-pointers. They shot 30 three-pointers in game 1. They shot 51 three-pointers in game 2. So they sat back and said, okay, Embiid's down there blocking shots. We just won't go to the rim anymore. We'll just chuck threes the whole game. So yeah, I think we just discovered it together, what the major difference was in game 1 versus game 2. Is that we weren't guarding the paint because Joel was out, but we were guarding the perimeter better. So we got to figure out a way to play with Joel, keep up the pace on our offensive end, move the ball, shoot more threes, and on the defensive end, guard the perimeter and not just the rim. We'll see, man. We'll see, but I mean, the game's drastically different with Embiid in there. And again, I think this is a legacy-defining game tonight. And, all the people that are telling me if the Sixers lose this series, it's clear that you can't win in 2023 with a center as your number one option. You can't win running the offense through a center in 2023. Guards are winning playoff series. You got the Lakers and the Warriors. You got the Denver Nuggets. Is Jokic winning that series? Hell no. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is bombing through. The guards are winning. The guards are winning. We need our guards to win. And if they lose this game and they lose this series, I think it becomes more clear that maybe you can't. Maybe you can't win in today's era of basketball running the game through a center. We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. The more I think about it like that, I'm like, dude, really, we are running the game through a center, man. In today's league, where teams are getting up 51 three-point attempts, we're slowing the game down, running the game through a center, trading twos for threes. I hope the case is not that you can't win like that. I think, you need a better balance. And throughout the season, I've seen a little bit better balance. Through the first part of the season, I saw a lot of Doc forcing the ball to Embiid, and Embiid, the pecking order that I talked about the whole season. And then I saw a little bit of a switch at certain parts of the season. I saw Embiid floating around more of the free throw line in the elbow and not necessarily getting the ball in the block every possession and running the shot clock down, being more of a pick and pop guy and running the game more balanced with Harden in the pick and roll and the pick and pop to the free throw line and Maxey. And so I think it's possible, but I think people are maybe right that you can't win the game by just forcing the ball on the block because it's not 1968. But Joel's so dominant that you give them the ball on the block, they got a double, they got a triple, and you kick the ball out to the three-pointer. So maybe it can work if he's moving the ball fast enough like he was in the Brooklyn series. If he's 100%, or closer to 100% than he was last game. Embiid needs Kobe, Wade, or Penny. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. Shaq needed Kobe. Shaq needed Wade. Shaq needed Penny. It can work, but there has to be somebody on the perimeter that can make the team pay for overloading the block because that center's so dominant. If James isn't that guy, if James is past his prime and can't give you that, and Maxey's too young, and Joel goes through the rest of his career and basically retires without getting it done, then we'll look back at it and we will probably say, Joel never had his Kobe. He never had his Wade. He never had his Penny. He never had that guy on the perimeter that can put the team on his back when they're throwing the kitchen sink at him in the post. We'll see, man. You know what I mean? LeBron needed Kyrie. LeBron needed Dwayne Wade down in Miami. LeBron needed AD. Jordan needed Pippen. People hate when I say that, but Jordan didn't win a championship until Scottie Pippen got there. Got swept twice in the first round. Great players can't just drag a team to a championship, bro. You need a good team. We'll see what happens, man. Kobe, Penny, etc. were getting up 20-plus shots a game. Harden gets 12. That's the thing about it. And when people say we don't need Harden to be a scorer, somebody on Instagram was trying to explain to me that Harden didn't come here to be a scorer. I was like, bro, then we're screwed, bro. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Somebody said that to me. We didn't get Harden for his scoring. Bro, then who's going to score? Because Joel can drop 40 a game. Guess what? You got to score 120. And Maxey's 22. Yeah, Harden does need to be a scoring threat. He does. I don't think you can rely on Tyrese Maxey at such a young age. And, Harden does need to be a scoring threat. People that are like, we just need him to be the facilitator that he is, get the ball to the guys. No, we're talking about winning NBA championships, bro. We're not talking about passing the ball to Tobias Harris in regular season games. We're talking about beating the best of the best. You need multiple superstars that can get it done. We know you can win 55 or 60 games in a regular season by playing the perimeter, being the facilitator, and getting the ball to Maxey and Tobias and George Niang and everybody else, and beat the Houston Rockets on a Tuesday night in December. We know you can do that. We need Harden to be... He's not going to give you 45. But I don't know what the hell happened between his shooting in Game 1 and his shooting in Game 2, but he needs to find a balance. We need somewhere in between. You went from 45 points in a win in Game 1 to 2 for 17 in Game 2. We need somewhere in between tonight, James. I'd like to see more McDaniels. Let me read the super chat real quick. Laking Ball, thanks for the super chat. What's up? Thanks for supporting the channel. I seen a stat that Embiid is 1 for 9 against the Celtics in the playoffs. Do they just have the 76ers number, or they always had a better team? I think it's a combination of both. They are the best team defending Joel Embiid in his career, and Al Horford is the best player defending Joel Embiid in his career. So the Boston Celtics, with Al Horford on their team, are the best team at defending Joel Embiid in his career. But look at the timeline. I typed in Joel Embiid injury history because, it's all a blur to me, and I can't remember, when he started, when he got hurt, what series were won by him being healthy and dominant, what series were lost by him being injured. The 2018 playoffs, in a win over the Knicks, Embiid suffered an orbital fracture to his left eye. That's the one I think that Markelle Fultz shouldered him in the face right around a screen, and required surgery. He missed the final 8 games of the regular season and the first 2 games of the playoffs. That's right. Embiid wore a mask to protect his face. That was against the Boston Celtics. Am I right about that? We played the Celtics in the second round. I remember a dunk on Aaron Baines with the mask. I don't remember if that was the first round or the second round, but correct me if I'm wrong. We lost to the Boston Celtics in 2018. I think so. I think Ben was being a fraud, and Brett Brown had to pull out. We were down 3-0, I think, in a series. And Brett Brown started TJ McConnell at point guard because Ben couldn't do it. I don't know if I'm getting the years mixed up, but I was at that game, actually, that the Sixers started TJ McConnell. Ben had a 1-point game in game 2. 2019, Embiid was healthy, and they played the Toronto Raptors in the second round. Embiid was limited to 10 of a possible 24 regular season games following the All-Star break because of left knee tendonitis in 2019. His availability for almost all of the first round was up in the air, and he missed game 3 with knee soreness. What was that? That was the Brooklyn Nets again, I believe. Though that was the only game he missed in the postseason, a stomach virus impacted Embiid in Game 2 of Philadelphia's second-round series with Toronto. He also needed an IV ahead of Game 4 of the same series because he was throwing up and barely slept the night before, and he played through an upper respiratory infection in Game 5. My God, bro. And the Sixers lost the series. In 2020, in the bubble, Embiid was healthy for the most part. Ben Simmons had the broken kneecap, and the Sixers got swept by the Boston Celtics in round 1. After Boston swept Philadelphia in the first round of the 2020 NBA playoffs, former 76ers head coach Brett Brown said that Embiid was battling an ankle injury. So even in that series, when Ben Simmons was out with the broken knee and we got swept, Joel Embiid was battling an ankle injury. So far, at least what I've gathered from this article, refreshing my memory, he was injured in the 2018 playoffs, in the 2019 playoffs, in the 2020 playoffs. 2021, and this is where I start to forget everything because we had a 72-game season after COVID, and then we played another season. I don't even remember what the hell happened. I don't even know what year it is right now. 2021 NBA playoffs. Embiid left Philadelphia's Game 4 loss to Washington in the first round with a knee injury. A couple of days later, the 76ers announced that Embiid suffered a small lateral meniscus tear in his right knee, which was to be managed with a physical therapy and treatment program. I remember that, and I think it was after he dunked on Nene. No, that was a Rockets game the year before. Or did he play for Washington at that time? For some reason, I'm thinking it was Nene. Big dude with the dreads. Anyway, Embiid did not play in Game 5. The Sixers took care of business without him to advance, but he returned in the second round and played all 7 games, averaging 30, 12, and 3. That was 2021. He averaged 30 and 12 in the second round against the Atlanta Hawks. He tried to dunk on Robin Lopez. I remember him coming back with a knee brace on and dunking on Nene. I think that was in a regular season game or earlier playoffs. I don't remember. No, we weren't playing the Rockets in the playoffs. That's a West Coast team. What am I talking about? He tried to dunk on Robin Lopez and hurt his knee in against the Wizards. Yeah. And then he averaged 30 and 12 against the Atlanta Hawks, and we still lost. And the iconic, Ben Simmons refusing to shoot the ball point blank under the rim in 2021. 2022. Following Game 3 against the Raptors, news broke that Embiid was dealing with pain and discomfort in his right thumb. An MRI revealed a torn ligament in his right thumb. He also had the orbital fracture in his face and was wearing a mask again. In Game 6 of the same series, he suffered the orbital fracture and a mild concussion. Missed the first 2 games against the Miami Heat. Came back, won 2 games with the mask on, got slapped in the face at half court by Bam Adebayo wearing the mask. And I've always speculated that he had migraines and blurred vision and everything else ever since Bam hit him in the face with the mask on. And that was it for that series too. So realistically, again, I'm on. This is a legacy-defining game tonight because if the Sixers lose tonight and go on to lose this series, and the reason they lose is Joel Embiid's injury, then he was injured in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Sorry to put that out there. Joel needs to come back tonight, and the Sixers need to win. Joel needs to come back tonight, and the Sixers need to win. That's 100% what needs to happen. Not just for the Sixers moving forward in this series, but for Joel Embiid's legacy. For real. Crawley says the problem, Embiid doesn't have a dominant shooter on his team that can punish people for doubling Embiid. Yeah, he needs his, Joel needs his Dwayne Wade. He needs a Kobe Bryant, man. You guys got any comments, questions, hot takes, opinions, anything in the chat before tonight's game? Brandon Katz, Philly isn't winning in Boston again. They have to win the next 2 games. I love Joel, but a mummy can keep themselves together better than Embiid. Pope says, how about them Eagles? We got a Sixers playoff game coming up, bro. I don't even know. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. I'm a couple hours away from a season-defining game. I'm a couple hours away from Joel Embiid's legacy being defined. I really think that. JoJo dropping 44. Let's go. Jeff Foster stat line. James Harden is 1-13 when Scott Foster is officiating the game. Jimmy was Embiid's Kobe, and Sixers front office fucked that up. Yes, they did. They should have said, hey, man, we got 2 superstars right here. Give these 2 guys whatever they want. Instead, they thought Brett should stay, and he can't control Jimmy Butler, and they chose Brett Brown and Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler, and then it became quite clear that both of those guys weren't the answer. Ghost, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Celtics just remembered to make the extra pass on Game 2. That was the difference. Celtics had open shooters on Game 1 also. That's the difference, to be honest. So the Celtics did not know to make the extra pass in Game 1, is what you're saying. A team full of NBA basketball players that have played the game their entire lives, that are good enough at basketball to be at the highest level in the best league in the entire world, did not know in Game 1 that they should swing the ball to the open shooter. And in Game 2, they said, hey, let's swing the ball to the open shooter, and we're going to win this game. And maybe that happened. Maybe that's what happened. Sounds crazy to me. I think swinging the ball to an open shooter is just instinctual for players this good, but Oh, you could be right. You could be right. If Joel doesn't guard the perimeter, we lose. Yeah, how do we make that happen? He guarded the rim last game, and they shot 51 threes. We didn't guard the rim in game 1 because Joel wasn't there. They had 66 points in the paint, but they only shot 33 pointers. We'll see, man. We'll see. We're close. We're close, man. We're close. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. You guys are the best. Always being active in the chat. Always interacting with me. Always hanging out, man. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you on Playback TV tonight. Playback.tv/runitbackphilly. We're setting records. We're setting records, man. I'm getting more and more nervous as the minutes go by. This game tonight defines the entire season and quite possibly defines Joel Embiid's career. Yeah, do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm out.